I know that you guys train a lot together with JJ. Can you tell us more about like your regime, the idea behind it, the mindset that you want to have?
100 hours per week, every week.
My God, 100 hours per week.
Yeah.
That's,
always win.
That's like
no counters.
That's like 2.5 of a full-time job.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you. I mean, if you say 40 hours as a full-time job, usually full-time jobs are like 28 hours or something because you have always holidays. I mean, this includes no holidays. This includes nothing, right?
Super grind. Super
grind, right?
And is it effective?
Well, I mean, you can judge yourself. So since we are doing that, we played one tournament, which was Bedstone. That that was fortunate, of course, also, but it was yeah. I mean, I could win that. The tournament, and now this is the second one we are playing, and I hope that we're giving a good performance here. Yeah, absolutely, sure. Also, if you're taking a look at the decks we built, I mean, you see already some special.
I already see a tech. Yeah, exactly. It's a pirate. I'm guessing that although it's a pirate, you don't run patches in the Warlock because that probably makes no sense, right? But why do you play the Corsair instead of the Acidic Swarm Pools? Because it's better trading against pirates in the beginning of the game, against the Zov?
No, who says? I mean, it is Arena Warlock, right? And as being Arena Warlock, you can play one-offs in this deck, so if you want to have access to more weapon hate than the Ooze...
so you have both, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not saying that because we didn't see them at the very moment, but you can just play them complementary, especially if you go for a Warlock ban, which we went for. And as you know, the Warlock doesn't play weapons themselves, so it means if you ban a non-weapon class, then you might want to run more weapon hate in your other decks. And that's basically what JJ is doing here. Yeah, we will probably just see a Mortal Coil coming down here, and then if the Dagger Up comes, the Bloodsail Course will probably hit. So I would be surprised about that.
Yeah. So actually, Mortal Coil seems to have more value nowadays, especially because of the patches, right? And even though it doesn't get you pure card advantage because you trade the Mortal Coil for patches that didn't go for any board cost or sorry, card cost or mana cost, it still cycles through your deck, right? So unless you have already like a Demon Raft to deal with it additionally to other minions, it feels still like a good play, right?
No, I agree. But I also agree with the line that you can also just keep the Mortal Coil for one turn more to kill this 3-2. I mean, that's definitely also a possibility. I actually like
and there's the patches. There's the patches in the Arena Warlock. So that's an interesting choice here, because first of all, you thin your deck, right, a little bit. It takes a spot that is usually, I'm guessing, usually taken by other form of a early board control card, right? So you play Mortal Coil. In this case, it serves almost the same purpose, right?
Yeah, that's right. And here we also you talked about the acidic Swamp Ooze here.
And there it is.
And I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, if your rogue always pays these 2 mana to dagger the dagger up, and then suddenly you just kill it with the acidic Swamp, it's just devastating. And now we're seeing a backstab coming down this 1-2 pirate, and all those things are not very good for him. Yeah, all those things are not very advantageous for Ostkaka for sure.
Okay, it seems like a pretty damn good deck, at least in this matchup. Refreshment Vendor kind of balances out the damage taken in the early game. I love that. I mean, Kazakos is like the reason why Arena Warlock is so powerful right now.
That's right. That's right.
It's pure nuts when you think about it. Even the 1 mana potion is nuts.
I wouldn't even be surprised to see some kind of a 1 mana potion eventually. I mean, we also saw this Refreshment Vendor, and these funnel cakes are definitely very tasty. Plus 4 life, 3/5 answering the 3/3 and the 1/1 perfectly, forcing out a Fan of Knives to soak up the damage. It's just awesome. It's insane, right? So even the patches, I'm not even sure whether we see the patches trading here.
You think so? I mean, it's
no,
odd,
it would be a possibility, but he decides not to. He even decides to do it the other way around, which is pretty interesting, but of course Mortal Coil is out, I can see it, but Demon Wrath might punish this.
Is an answer here. If there would be a turn 5, I would probably go just for the Kazakos 1 mana potion, because it can build up either an answer with 2 damage to every single minion or 3 damage to 1 minion. It can get you a card draw, right?
It does.
But in this case, it goes for the 5 mana cost spell, right? Because that...
Ichor, what died? They were only rubbish minions, right? He can go for it anyways.
There was the Pirate and Patches, basically.
That's right, so he doesn't need to. Yeah, it's true.
deal 4 damage to all minions.
The thing is,
always
you can
good.
this resurrection, you can combine the resurrection with the health. So if you really combine it, you sometimes might get the benefit out of that. But yeah, here you would, because you pass up the other option, you probably take the Heart of Fire, so that it deals 5 damage and draws you 2 cards, right?
Yeah. I mean,
sounds good.
Kazakus is just nuts when you consider all those elements being put into one card, right?
The Felbloom is, by the way, probably better. The Felbloom, the 4 damage to everything is probably even better. Yeah.
Well, it answers a Tomb Pillager, answers a Gazetman as well, an Auctioneer.
Yeah, and 2 of them, so I think the Felbloom is better. Yeah, Heart of Fire is only better because you can deal direct damage, but you don't really... JJ is not in a position where he wants to deliver the direct damage, so definitely agree here with the Felbloom.
Yeah, because you will win by board control and not by just finishing up by projectile.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely. Funny story also that you can actually also kill concealed minions, so it was not even a close choice, to be honest. The 5 damage were much worse than the 4 damage, because if there is a conceal, I mean, you play Kazaku's Potion and the game might be over in your favor. So yeah, Felbloom definitely way better here.
But still, Ostkaka might have found an answer, because now he has the red mana Vim into a prep Eviscerate for the Kazakus, deal 5 damage to the face, and have an insane minion on board that might not get answered by JJ.
Oh, the Worm is 4 health, right?
6.
Oh yeah, it's 2/6
2/6,
or what?
yes.
Oh,
It's
okay,
a
okay,
2/6.
okay. That's pretty convenient.
Pretty convenient, yeah, and it will have already a 6 attack. So let's say it will be this, then 6/6. Next, then you have a sap already for something else that will be played on board, and that means you will get buffed to 8, including the 5 damage from patches this turn. So it's 18 damage next turn, actually.
That's probably still fine, because JJ might just play the Demon Brass. Or even better in this case. In this case, he might just do the potion even.
I mean, definitely. Now that you still have Kazakus on the board, you can just use it as a trade tool, and that means you get to clear the entire board. That's amazing.
Yeah, but you also lose your Kazakus and your turn.
But
So
I don't feel like it matters if you lose the Kazakus right now, because what else do? You would need to answer the red maneuver. You don't want to have that on your opponent's side of the board active for the attack.
No, I think it's okay to do it. Definitely. I mean, sure.
Drawing 2 cards as well. My God.
Never weapons. Never weapons. Yeah, if you thought there could be weapons at any point of the game, you are wrong.
I mean, the Shaman will kind of get sad because of that as well, if this Arena Warlock would win this game, right?
Well, maybe. I mean, I heard it's kind of the last hero standing, so that means Ostkaka will have his fun against this Arena Warlock anti-weapon tech. And
but then he can pick the Druid. But never mind. Let's focus on the game here.
But this is the thing, right? I mean, Ostkaka still doesn't know it, so he might only think that this deck runs the Pirate instead of the Use, or maybe the Pirate and the Use. So Ostkaka just doesn't know, so he probably won't queue the Druid, but he probably won't will queue the Shaman instead, and then he might get punished for that.
All right. Turn 6 Emperor, always good, especially when you have cards like the Bruiser, which is nuts for 2 mana if your opponent just builds up the board again. But you can see the power of the counterfeit coin, where it's being drawn without any pieces of combo.
Yeah, I see.
It's complete garbage in this situation.
Exactly, yeah, I see no power in this counterfeit coin, but I see the power in the Harrison Jones, which will just eat like 2 cards. Because Ostkaka really does have little to no reason not to attack with a dagger and redagger up.
Dagger, exactly.
I mean, he will never assume a Harrison Jones in the Arena Warlock, and that will be the downfall. I mean, obviously won't be the downfall, being blank 2 turns. Definitely also contributed to it, but yeah, it's not looking very good here.
Oh my God, a coin into Eviscerate, into 5 damage to the face to just take out an Emperor. Talk about a expensive turn.
Yeah, very. I mean, I guess in Ostkaka's mind, he can only win if he draws the Auctioneer next turn. So that might be the reasoning. So Harrison Jones and Dragon coming down here.
Also, a Voidwalker tagged out for the battle of the early game, right?
That's right. Oh,
interesting choices.
we don't even see the Harrison.
Oh,
I'm surprised.
Interesting, unless wait, 3, 6, 3, 6, 7, 8.
No, he could have done it.
He could have done it.
He could have done it.
He at 9.
He probably should have done it. But
most likely, yeah.
I mean, if he would have played Harrison and Dragon, he would have been at 50 in life. So he might be afraid of what? Leroy, Cold Blood? It's like 14 damage.
He used 1 Cold Blood. He used 1 Eviscerate.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm wondering.
So Cold Blood Eviscerate.
It's like Leroy, Cold Blood Eviscerate,
and
but
that's
then
14, dagger 15. But if you destroy the dagger, he doesn't have enough mana to play everything.
Yeah.
Unless he has preps. But then it's Leroy.
No, he cannot have it.
You don't have enough cards.
You don't have enough cards, yeah. You cannot have it. I think Harrison Dragon would have been the correct play. But on the other hand, sometimes you're a little bit short on time to... And I mean, in JJ's situation, I mean, seriously, why should you not just play it safe? I mean, you know you will just win this game within the next 2 turns. So there's really little reason to play it.
And that's the problem with the Rogue now. You have all those cards that are really synergetic with other cards in your deck, but those require minions. If you don't have minions anymore, and it just feels like the deck alone, the cards are really low value.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, these are the turns which are usually a little bit awkward to bridge, because, I mean, there are just like 3 empty turns. I mean, what should you say about that, right? I mean, Rogue draw their double prep, zap, and Cold Blood, and cannot do or play anything, sure. And meanwhile, JJ is playing for 6 mana, for 7 mana, and for 8 mana. And it's not even that he's barely barely playing with the 6, 7, 8 mana with standard cards, but he's playing like stuff like Harrison, drawing 2 cards, killing your opponent's weapon, and so on and so on. So yeah.
I think what was actually the downfall for Ostkaka in this game was the fact that he didn't use the prep eviscerate for the Kazakus. You know?
That's right. Yeah.
Because ensuring that there's no direct damage into Kazakus, sorry, into the red Manavim, would have made it possible for the red Manavim to live 1 turn at least, right? Because the
and deal some damage, sure.
The Kazakus potion would have to be deal 5 damage and then deal 4 damage to the entire board to kill the red Manavim. Siphon Soul is still 1 turn away. There's only the Blackfire potion from the Warlock for 4 mana, but then he loses 1 mana, 1 crystal permanently, and that's not a great option. And you might. JJ might not even be playing it, right?
No, so generally didn't like it at all not to use Prep Eviscerate there, because I mean, even a single Hellfire would have punished him
severely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a single Hellfire would have wiped out the board there. So I saw really little reason not to use this Prep Eviscerate, unless for this Auctioneer top deck. But I don't think that you should go for this Auctioneer top deck. Yeah,
he still had other spells for the Auctioneer. Even after using the Prep Eviscerate, he still had a Sap. He still had, I think,
a prep,
second Prep, right?
I'm not sure whether he already had it, but yeah, I mean, I was just thinking it's too expensive to wait for it.
Oh, a Patches in the opening hand can happen, right?
That is very expensive. Yeah,
it's actually like 2 mana expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. I mean, 1/1 charge is not completely useless in Warlock, because you can keep in your hand to improve your hand size, like in this case. Now he's just keeping it in his hand. For the Warlock, it doesn't really matter what cards are in the hand, right? I mean,
because you want to have the 4-drop, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just want to have your 4/8, 4/9 dragon. In this case, it will be 4/9. And later, I mean, you will always have a hand size of 8, 9, maybe with the Murloc, which Ostkaka plays, which is pretty funny. Maybe you even have more like 9 cards or 10 cards, and then you just have like some which are good and some which are bad, but they all have utility. So even the 1/1 charge can just confirm this 1 little damage you need at specific times, and will just be able to deliver that, which is very important if you want to kill a 5/1, for example. You saw it in the last game.
Okay,
right?
but in general, I can't feel like this. I can't help to feel that this matchup kind of feels hopeless for the Warlock.
Oh, really?
I mean, your opponent is playing a burn deck, right? That's a problem for the Warlock. He can kill you just from 30 instantly with the Malagos of Yana combo, you know? And you can't play around it. That's the thing. You need to be faster than the Druid in this case to deal the damage, just you know, or make them use the burn to kill creatures. So with all those techs that you have here, right? So with the Pirates, with the Patches, you lose a lot of, I'm guessing, because I didn't see the deck list, but I'm guessing they're losing some form of mid-range, of the mid-game cards, right? Those minions that can pressure the Druid.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, of course, it depends on how it's been drawn, but I guess Warlock usually has enough tools in order to apply pressure. So I guess it's more about whether Druid draws very well or not. In this case, he already had the Myra Keeper, so that obviously helps a lot. The Innovate is helping, even an Ancient of War not being too bad Electros at the beginning, or at least not at the end of the game, also definitely helps some.
The Ancient of War right now is a huge roadblock for the Twilight Drake, so that makes it awkward for JJ. PO. Oh, still lacking damage to kill it. You can go for a PO into Shadow Flame to kill the entire board, but that's expensive. That's super expensive.
I guess
right?
I guess it's Patches PO. Patches PO.
And Mortal Coil?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Then you can also tap, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
I mean, you have Dirty Rat in your hand as well, so you might hope to combo it with PO and Shadow Flame at some point, but then you get a lot of damage right now, and that's probably something you don't want to do at all.
I think it's just Patches PO, like tapping first. Yeah, probably tapping first. Tapping first. Patches PO, Mortal Coil.
Is there a draw that could have changed this play?
No.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Oh.
JJ disagrees? No.
He might have
No,
fallen.
no,
Maybe there's still patches in the deck, you know?
Yeah, no, that's the correct line. You want to utilize patches if you can. Now you can deal 4 damage for 1 mana. That's kind of a soulfire without a discard. You can utilize your Mortal Coil. All things are very good for you. So I see little reason not to do that. And if Ostkaka doesn't address this dragon, he will become surprised by a healer on the dragon. So that's also kind of convenient. You also see Sylvanas if a second big threat should hit. Ostkaka basically utilizing this Innervate now might have a little bit of tempo problems, especially because he cannot really utilize this Oracle now with JJ. I mean, he can. But
basically
it's like he still gives JJ one card, right? So he doesn't really want to do that.
But at the same time, at some point he will need to use it, and the later it goes into the game, the faster the Warlock depletes his hand, right? So there might be actually no situation when JJ is at 9 cards.
I'm not even sure about that. Like a lot of handlock players or Warlock players are usually playing it so that you always have 9 cards in the hand. Like, I don't know.
But JJ is aware now that Ostkaka is playing with the Cold Light Oracles.
Oh,
so
he knows?
Yeah, because he saw the other games, right? So he
might
take
the second the second Oracle, that was... Now holy crap, that was important. No, I was thinking that Ostkaka 3-0 with Rogue, so... Did you see that day?
Yeah, but he was watching other games. Right?
Ah, alright, yeah, sure. No, okay, cool. Yeah, then maybe, okay.
Well, Arena Jackson is burned, and that is actually impactful in the game, right? Because now...
No, I was just wondering about the 1-2 Pirate, because under the circumstances that JJ knows that Ostkaka is playing double Cold Light Oracle, I would have played the Pirate turn 1.
Okay.
I would have played the Pirate turn 1. Yes, the Dragon is 1 health weaker, but you have this 1-2 Pirate. You will play around Cold Light
the
Oracle.
1 mana that you had.
Yeah.
You didn't use at all.
Exactly,
right?
and you play around Cold Light Oracle permanently. And instead of having this 1-2 crappy card in your hand, you can basically replace it by a better, different one.
In this case, Arena Jackson.
In this case, it would have been Arena Jackson.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously
of course you can't predict, right? But
yeah, I mean,
in hindsight,
in hindsight, sure, yeah. I mean, in hindsight, it's true. Okay, so that's interesting. All plays are just not aligning very well. I wouldn't be surprised to see. Ooh, I'm actually surprised to see this. No, I would play the 4/5 taunt and heal the dragon. What the heck is going on? Something weird.
Oh,
that was not good. He could have played the 3 mana 4/5 taunt. I think that was probably also the last opportunity to play it for 3 mana. So he could have played the 3 mana 4/5 taunt. It could have healed his dragon completely, or nearly completely, but very big.
Curve, right, and still kind of stop the opponents from from trading well.
He could have just chosen. I mean, he could have chosen to heal his dragon and trade with the dragon to the 3/3. Then his board would have been 4/5 3/3 4/4.
Yeah.
And yeah,
definitely better.
Yeah, like 12 stats on board against 4 stats, so it's an overlay of 8/8, and the line JJ took overlaid him, I think 6 stats, so probably burned 2 mana there.
Soulfire will discard another card. Let's hope it's not high impact. It's the Bruiser, okay. Other options that could have been way more valuable for JJ to keep, but. I'm guessing he's playing Bran and MC Tech as well, right? Because he's playing Dirty Rat?
Yeah. Yeah, Bran, I mean, of course, Bran. Yeah.
But in this situation, Dirty Rat might actually be the key to victory in this case. Because it can get out a key minion.
That's right. That's right.
So in this case, it might be a Malagos, it might be a... Well, Malagos would have been the best, right? If you get the Malagos or you get the Aviana, and you get rid of them then at the same turn, you kind of strip away the combo pieces from Ostkaka. And that means you can actually get now away with the fact that you burned Reno Jackson and Enforcer, which is very key card in this matchup as well, because it's a huge minion that is really tough for the Druid player to deal with.
Yeah, I don't think that the Enforcer was too important, but I definitely agree that Reno Burn was not ideal. But putting that aside, I mean, Ostkaka, again, Alex Truss are being kind of useless now, so I mean, basically what you said, if the Maligos gets into Ostkaka's hand and for whatever reason becomes dirty ratted, sure, I mean, that would not be ideal for Ostkaka.
Okay, Pharaoh Rage used as a removal for the Farseer. What are the options for JJ now? Hellfire can clear the Curator, but it feels bad as well. Siphon Soul needs to be kept for other minions, unless if you use the Siphon Soul right now, you're kind of aware that the problem is against this deck. The only minion that you probably want to Siphon Soul is another Ancient of War.
No, I like this. I like Sylvanas on a board where your opponent cannot get rid of his own minion. It's very strong. It's very, very good. Putting aside that you also gain yourself 4 health with his Mistress, basically bringing you to 23 again, so that's kind of equivalent to a Reno Jackson.
That close?
It's not that close, but it's. I mean, at the moment you see JJ already being down at 10 cards because he didn't really take any damage throughout the game. Also, something like an Enforcer didn't leech him down, so he will get back to 23 life, being with the deck already being drawn. It's not too bad, at least.
Well, Ostkaka helped him with that draw. He played 2 Cold Light Oracles, so that's 4 cards. That's actually a lot when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe Ostkaka is even outvaluing JJ here.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
guess so.
think so. Yeah.
I guess so. I mean, even without any kind of combo wombo, and just by outvaluing him. But then again, I mean, Nourish is also kind of a draw card, so in terms of value, it will be very close. Okay.
Swipe to attack into Sylvanas, I guess.
No, but that's expensive. I mean, you don't want to. You don't really want to swipe Voidwalkers. You don't really want to attack Sylvanas and letting your 4/1 stolen.
So I guess in this case that we just said that Ostkaka is outvaluing JJ. JJ might come back into this game with the value. The value game with Kazakus, an example. With the Resurrects, it might. Oh, here we go. There's the Kazakus.
Exactly, and we also know that Druid doesn't really have access to board clear, which means Kazakus, which gives the revival potion, might really have a big impact, especially being combined with a health. So definitely taking the 5 mana slot here, definitely reviving the 2 minions. Oh, and he missed the 4 health. If he would have also gotten the 4 health, this game might have already been nearly over. I mean, if you just
3/7, a 3/7, and a 2/5, that was actually insane, right?
It would have been just insane. I mean, you would have seen. I mean, those 2 minions are good. Don't get me wrong here, but he would have just confirmed 20 bonus health with this potion, and with Kazakus potions you always have roughly a 50-50 on hitting what you want. Yeah, so he had a 50% chance to get this 4 health, and I'm pretty sure he wanted it, and then there were the other 50% for this reviving.
I mean, the other option was to get at least the 5/5 demon. Right.
That would have also been pretty insane, right? Yeah, sure. So no matter how you put it, but even this play kind of confirms a lot of stats on the board. We see 3/3, 5/5, 4/6 taunt, so it's not too bad at all.
I mean, another Sylvanas, right? That's like getting an additional buff of HP stats and stats in general, because you will steal it from your opponent.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but also talking about the brand, I mean, if you think about outvaluing, because we were talking about outvaluing earlier, I mean, first of all, there are things like Mulch, and Mulch can always confirm very cool minions for JJ.
Oh, like this one.
Like this one, yeah, it's like a 10 drop. So instead of doing nothing for 10, you get 6/6 and deal 6 damage. You don't complain that much about this one. But putting that aside, even if you just get a Bran and a Kazakus in your hand, you can easily outvalue the Druid, right? Because you get 2 5-mana Kazakus spells. So even if your deck is not that greedy, I mean, it's still sufficient.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts when I think about it.
As you see here, I mean, it's just awesome. Even the 6/6 Cthulhu, it's just
sick. It puts a huge body on board. That means you deal 16 damage this turn.
It's insane, yeah. You just go for the face, Cthulhu, here I go.
And you most likely win the game, but
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. There are not 29 damage.
There's only the one living goods. No Moonfires, no Aviana in the hand.
But even Aviana, I mean, what should she help? I mean, there's just Ostkaka is just facing down a really big, huge board, and that's also the reason why we didn't bring, like JJ and me, we didn't bring Druid to this tournament, because we just think it's just too slow against all those curve decks which hit your face. I mean, if Druid is too slow against Arena Warlock, I mean, you can make your own conclusion what that means.
Yeah, that's true. We had actually a lot of talks with other players about the Jade Druid. Some people think it's kind of okay. Some of players feel like it's like too sluggish. It's
slow.
It's
just slow, yeah. Against correctly tech decks, it's just too slow. You'll get your 3 Jade Idol, but unfortunately you're dead. Congratulations. Yeah, it's just too slow. And of course, if you're playing against your friend in a casual mode, well, the Jade mechanic might be really set for you, because by turn 10 or by turn 11, yes, you said the Jade mechanic might overwhelm you, and there will be 7/7s, 8/8 overrunning you, and you might feel like Jade being an OP mechanic. But if games are ending by turn 7, by turn 6 even, yeah, it's not OP at all.
Yeah, that's true. And now we'll see end of the game, because JJ Cyclone Souls, the Engine of War. Thank you for the sound effects.
Okay.
Late coach.
Sure. Always welcome.
Well, 2-0 with the teched out Arena Warlock, although we have seen the Arena Jackson being burned this game, so it wasn't like, you know, needed at all. In hindsight, I would actually say that the most important card in this matchup is actually Kazakus. But I feel like you can say that in almost every single matchup.
In almost every single matchup. I mean, that's also why we were wondering about Reno bans or like Warlock bans, because we just think that Kazakus is such a strong card, but also very difficult to play against, because you just don't even know what. I mean, if you would even know which mana cost they took, but you don't even know that, right? So you're playing effectively against an infinite amount of combinations, and then against a 1, 5, or 10 mana potion.
Yeah.
And the 10 mana potion can completely wreck your board by sheeping all of your minions. So it just feels that you're playing a little bit the lottery here. Your opponent plays Kazakus, and well, yeah, probably the game might just be over here. No,
yeah. That's completely correct. Kazakus seems nuts, and I think we kind of missed him in the evaluations on the best cards in the expansion, right? When we are doing the infographic.
Oh, no. I actually put Kazakus out of the evaluations. I didn't evaluate Kazakus on purpose, because I was thinking, well, other people are. I mean, you cannot evaluate everything, and if you really also want to evaluate the Reno decks, I mean, you might have too much to do. So I was thinking, yeah, if it's good enough, people will definitely play it, and him, and then you can still evaluate. But I think evaluation not needed anymore, because
that's true.
I guess it's pretty obvious what he does. Cool. Okay, so
that's a shaman. So now, no AOE in JJ's hand.
No AOE, but it's also, if you play against a shaman and they don't have the weapon, it's also only half that threatening. And you were talking about no AOE, but it's not exactly true, right? I mean, where mind control might not go through like an AOE effect, it kind of is an AOE, right?
And you might have it in Kazakus. So that's also something. But it's, at least for, it can be played at least turn 5. I mean, it can be one drop, so it deals 2 damage. It might be impactful if your opponent goes wide with the pirates, but if it goes wide with an example Feral Spirits, then you need the 5 mana potion from Kazakus.
Right.
So that might be kind of slow, but at the same time, the Kazakus potion might heal you for 7, which is also needed in case your shaman player will just be super aggressive. Right? So there's a lot of combinations. It's hard to tell what will be happening exactly.
But just look at this. Now, for example, the MC tech is just the insane nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pling! Give me one of these minions!
It doesn't really matter
and
what you
it's
take.
the best one! The Mod-3 Tunnel Truck switches the sides. He doesn't want his owner anymore because he didn't feed him enough overload.
Well, now it's the case that Ostkaka might go for the Rogue Hero power. There's a small chance that he will get it. He will buff his small-time Buccaneers, so he will able to trade with, at least with the Trog if he wants to. But other options are just Feral Spirits, and you most likely lose the board anyway.
This MC tech was just awesome, like 3 mana 7/7 basically. Taking 2/2 out of the board, or even more, maybe even taking 0/0 off the board, getting a 1/3 yourself. That was basically his 3 mana 7/7 or 7/8 or whatever you want to call it. So just insane. Also being followed up by these insane big dragons. Kazakus is just insane. Next turn there will be the 4/7 dragon instead of a whatever 4/5 or 4/6.
I actually was thinking about Kazakus instead of the Twilight Dragon.
No, never, right? I mean, you want to play. I mean,
what if your opponent plays a 7/7 right now?
Oh, if he plays a 7-7 right now, then the plan might change. If he plays a 7-7, you want to play a Kazakos. That's right.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. Because now it kind of doesn't look good anymore unless you get a Shadow Bolt.
Oh, he is all in, so that means also less damage. Pretty convenient, anyways. But yeah, I agree. Kazakos has to come.
5 mana potion to get a 5 damage spell. An example. Because
okay, summon 2 friendly minions. Which minions died? The Tunnel Trog?
The Tunnel Trog
and MC Tech. That's not
and
too
MC
bad.
Tech. Yes. What did he take?
He took the 5/5 demon and 4 damage to everything now, which is not too bad. But I'm just curious about the resurrection of 2 minions, and the resurrection of 2 minions resurrecting 3/3 and 1/3 or 5/5 demon.
I mean, if you get a double Tunnel Trog, I mean, sorry, if you get a Tunnel Trog, it's basically always 1/3, right? Because you will not get over.
Yes.
So it doesn't really buy that much value, right?
But you get a 3/3 optionally. You might get 2 3/3 if you play something else later. You get this one too. So I'm actually surprised that JJ took the demon. I think the 2 resurrection targets are probably better. But yeah, sure. I mean, let's see how this goes.
We don't see actually the options for Ostkaka when it comes to discovery, but I'm guessing that's not easy because he thinks a long time. He checks also the board state, so this might be the Rogue Hero Power. No, it's the Warlock Hero Power.
And the weapon. When Ostkaka was talking about the 3-0 sweep, I guess that is not what he had in mind. Probably.
Yeah. So now he's able to deal 7 damage to the face, but it's getting close.
Yeah, Reno will be in time, that's the thing, right? So Face Shaman is doing everything to reduce the life, but unfortunately Reno, Jackson, and he will be in time, we know that. So that's pretty, yeah, that's pretty clear.
So the Kazakos potion was 5/5 and 4 damage AoE. Right?
Yeah, you might not even want to do that. You can also just trade your Kazakos and your MC tech into the big guy and just Demon Brassing the entire stuff down. Pirate and mixtures.
Pirate and Mistress of Mixtures, right?
Yeah, you can just clear, right? I mean, you can just clear the board, so why should you not do that? So you just trade these 2 dudes into the 7/7, Demon Brass the entire thing, the Mistress of Wonders, and the Pirate kills the 1 weapon, and the Patches kills the 1/1 Murloc. It's just insane.
Alright, because awesome. I forgot that we didn't get the patches yet. That's true. That's very impactful in this situation.
Yeah, it's super great. Yeah, you just clear the board. You have everything. Your opponent has nothing. You get to 30 life next turn. GG. Pretty cool.
Actually, it's pretty nuts with the patches right now.
Oh yes, patches is pretty nuts in every deck. I heard. Yeah, I mean, if the thing is, if you see patches in decks which don't play weapons and which are control decks, then you know something is going on.
Yeah, something is going on. Definitely true. And now the Warlock Hero Power will kind of help staying in the game, but the problem is, even when you have access to the draws, Reno Warlock will hold value now every single thing that you play.
Oh yeah, absolutely, especially with the Kazakos potion in the hand. I mean, this is pretty, yeah, I also don't really see it. I wouldn't even be surprised to see just Reno coming down here just to be very safe.
Yeah, it's just like still insane. 15 heal and a 4/6 body, that's like insane.
It's crazy, and you can then follow up it where you can then follow it up with Bran into Dragons or whatever you want to play.
Actually, you have Mistress of Mixture, which can trade with one of the wolves right now, so then you heal for 4.
Yeah, you probably don't even want to play Reno. You probably just play Sylvanas down, trade both, and then you're also more than safe. Sure.
And
at this very boss, it doesn't really matter what you do. to be honest,
that's true. Even if you just play Reno Jackson off curve on turn 7, still fine.
Yeah, whatever you do, right? I mean, you just have a lot of cards in your hand, your opponent doesn't. Your opponent is aggro, he just didn't manage to get you down. You have your Reno Jackson, he just heals for double healbot value, maybe for triple value healbot value later. Mistress of Mixtures also gives you 4 life. It was a 1 mana 2/2, was because if she trades into the wolf she will die, but she also
buys additional 2 health because of the trade as well, so that's like even more, right? It's kind of insane.
We see a tap for the dragon, I also don't mind that one. JJ just says, hey, with 17 life, I'm just very safe. Yeah. And it's obvious, obviously he's right about that.
So, 4 mana for Ostkaka, that's not a good indicator right now for the game, right? He's behind on board, he's behind on card advantage, and basically the only thing that he achieved is some damage on his opponent's hero.
No.
But it won't matter at all. And I guess that's the situation when you lose.
No, I think he's still hoping for no Reno Jackson. Please, no Reno Jackson in your hand.
Even without Reno, there are still so many cards that can just shut down the shaman.
Sure,
right?
sure. I mean, just the early game, right? The early game, also playing in this AoE, and then also Patches, right? Patches was really good too.
Alright, M-Game Boss, not really impactful in this situation. Shadow Bolt can kill the Totem Golem. I'm just thinking, do you really need to play the Reno Jackson right now? I feel like you can still wait. Even next turn, if your opponent will play Doomhammer Rockbiter weapon for 7 mana, that's only 10 damage.
Yeah, the deck lists are pretty much known, right? You know what kind of damage potential this shaman has, and usually it's very limited to double Lava Burst. So double Lava Burst means 10 damage. With a weapon it's 11. And a 1 mana spell is maximally Lightning Bolt,
so
which then confirms 14. Yeah, so you can just Shadow Bolt the one, eat the other, play your in-game boss, you're perfectly safe. Yeah. Dirty Red, that's okay.
Interesting choice.
Interesting choice. There's Aya, I don't even know why he did that, but okay, sure.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that as well. Like, in this situation, it kind of feels like it's one of the plays that can actually
lose you the game, maybe.
Yeah, kinda. Like if it gets a 7/7, it's awkward, right?
Sure.
But still, with the Kazakus potion this turn, there was a small chance of failing with the plan. But I guess he just wanted to be more aggressive. Yeah, he builds the 5/5 at the same time, right?
Yeah, I also see the Dirty Red as a little bit of a gamble card. So, I mean, if you're that much ahead, I see little to no reason to play it at all. Aha, okay. I see.
In this case, like, next turn is pretty much set. Life tap into Reno Jackson, you're at 15 life, so even your opponent with having access to the Lava Burst, there's no chance you die this turn, and if you play Reno Jackson next and just seal the deal. And for Ostkaka, if he uses any points of damage on not on his opponent's face, he's losing basically, right? So he can't do that. He can't do that. His only out is to hope there will be no heal cards for JJ, and then grind it out with the projectors that he has.
I don't even see what he just did, because Ostkaka just dealt 4 damage in the face instead of dealing with the dragon. Now the dragon can eat this 3/3. Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, but in this situation, I think it actually makes sense, because when those minions that you will play on board, they will always die. There might be a Hellfire, Shadow Flame, Shadow Bolt. There's so many tools,
JJ is happy,
right?
3-0 sweep.
A reverse sweep of what we have seen in the first match between those two guys, because that was a rogue sweep from Ostkaka in the first game today that we had, and now SuperJJ is taking the revenge.